latest episode of Death in Paradise, Neville and his team must work out how a musician was murdered with a marksman's precision in the dark. During the case, Marlon is conflicted as a figure from his past becomes involved in the investigation, and meanwhile, Neville considers getting back onto the dating scene. For the latest episode of Under the Palms, we have been joined by Tajh Miles to chat all things Death in Paradise.
Welcome back to our Under the Palms series, Tajh. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you for having me again.
Obviously, this episode was a great storyline for Marlon. What was your reaction to reading it?
I was really excited to see that we was going down that storyline and meeting people from Marlon's world, because I wanted to make sure we didn't forget about that, because it is a massive part of his character and his story. So to meet someone in that fact was quite serious. She was literally the main suspect and she was really close to him. So I couldn't wait to get started as soon as I read that part of the script.
There was a lot of online talk Marlon might go back to his old ways. Do you think this could happen? You know, if his friend had turned out to be the murderer, do you think he would have actually turned her in?
It's a good question. I get asked this a lot, and I always say, I personally don't think he will. But then again, you never know what people do when they're put in certain situations. I think it all depends what happens. I think when Layla came back into the picture, it did kind of throw him off a bit. He wasn't used to having someone so close to him being involved in any, investigation, but then she was heavily involved in it. She was the main suspect. And I think it didn't sway him to go back to his old ways, but it did really ruffle his feathers. He didn't know how to act in that situation. So I personally don't. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be cool and he'll keep going on how he's going on. But you never know. If anything bad happens, or if it's, you never know. There could be someone closer than Layla that we haven't met yet. We'll see.
I was going to say, it's mighty convenient that she did end up shooting the blank. Yeah, that worked out.
Yeah.
We're lucky. Yeah, we didn't have
perfect.
And I do think as well that it does seem that Marlon's character and Naomi are at the point where she definitely would have stopped him if he tried to go back to his old ways. It's I know we've teased you about having a romance before, but it does seem like there's a really good friendship going on.
Yeah, I think everyone. That's another reason why I don't think it will happen, because even if Marlon does decide he wants to, there's Naomi, there's Neville, there's Darlene, there's the commissioner, who that's all he really needs to be honest with you, to stop him from going down that route. So I think if there's any kind of inkling or any sort of bit of suspicion that he will go down there, all of them will be quick to shut it down and get him back on track.
So in terms of romance, do you think things could maybe change for Marlon now that Neville's kind of looking back for love? Do you think you might also see that for Marlon?
We want some romances. Come on.
I'm not the person to ask. I don't even. It's Marlon is really, really cheeky. I feel like he'd want, if anyone's in any sort of romance in the office, he'd want to get involved. I think with Florence and Neville, because it was kind of going on before he got there, he was like, I'll keep my distance. But anything that has flourished while he was there, he feels like he's part of it and he has to be involved. So I feel like, I don't know. It's a yes and a no kind of answer. I feel like he definitely would, find romance somewhere around the island. There's probably a lot of beautiful girls around St. Marie that Marlon would definitely be want to be involved in. But then it's just who? Is it in the office? I'm not too sure.
We'll keep our fingers crossed for a romance.
It's very intriguing. And one of my favourite parts of the episode as well was that really nice scene with you and Selwyn, where you're talking about how the last couple of years he's helped the character, and it did really seem that it was cementing any doubts that Marlon was ever going to leave the police force. He's definitely staying. And what was it like working with Don in that scene? Because everyone just talks about him like he's a legend.
Oh, he is. That's probably the proper word to describe him, as he's a legend. He is the Don. That scene was on set, and we're both saying that scene was really strange to film, because this is a Marlon and commissioner scene where it's kind of I don't know, grandson and granddad kind of mentee situation, but that is kind of how it is with Tajh and Don as well on set. The scene did feel like it was us two, but I mean, separate all the criminal past all that kind of stuff, because I'm innocent, I've never done anything bad in my life. But in terms of the situation that was going on between the commissioner and the dynamic, it felt real. It felt really, really, really real, and it was a touching scene to film, I'll be honest.
Oh, that's really nice. So is like Don on set like giving you acting tips and things like that?
If I asked for it, he wouldn't like impose himself on me and say like, you need to do this. Yeah, no. But if I ask, he'd always be quick to give me whatever answer I'm looking for. Yeah, he's very helpful.
So we know that the show is going to be coming back for season 12, and it does look as though Marlon will be joining that season 2. So can you tell us anything about the next season? Can you give us a scoop?
I don't know anything about the next season. I'd love to tell you, but I'm the wrong person to ask. I don't know. I've got some ideas, but like.
And then obviously we've got the big finale next week, so it's come around so quickly. It's crazy. And obviously the finale always brings its own fair share of drama. So what can you tease about that one?
I don't even know what I can tease. The finale is really, really, really good. It's a really good finale. When all of us read it, the murder investigation itself is something completely different. Never been done on the show before.
Oh, cool.
In the way we find out who does it is nuts as well. Like there's a lot of firsts in the finale that you haven't really seen the show before. So yeah, that's all I can say about spoiling anything.
Ooh, that sounds really
look forward to it. It's really good. It's really exciting.
So building on what you just said as well about like this season being so different, you know, obviously we've seen a lot of changes with Josephine leaving in particular. You know, you guys, started on the show around the same time. Was it really sad saying goodbye?
It was. It really, really, for me, when I joined in series 10, and everyone was so welcoming. Toby, Ralph, Josie, Dawn, Elizabeth, everyone was really, 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 really welcoming. But it was like, I didn't know when I joined that Toby was leaving at the end of series 10. I found out like midway through. So I was like, oh, well, you just got here and now you're just leaving. And then I also didn't know that Josie was leaving midway through when we just did. When we started, I found out, I think maybe after we filmed a couple episodes and I read a couple of scripts. And I asked her, I was like, are you going to leave? She's like, you're going to leave. And she's like, yeah, I'm going after episode 4. I was like, but we just got here. You got this. Yeah, it was really, really sad. I love Josie, man. Like when Toby left, we did miss an element of Toby on set. When Josie left, you're missing an element of Josie on set. It's still really fun, but you can always tell that they're not here because of how big of a character them two were.
Thank you so much for your time, Taj. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me again.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to the finale as well.
Thank you so much for joining out Under the Palms chat. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you next week. Bye.